Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Samslow33 here, and today I have yet another battle video for you. It's from another league tournament I did. A different one from last time. It's a new week, new tournament. We do these every week, and this time I have a co-commentator, William Compere. Say hi, William.
Hey.
And today, this is the second round of that tournament, and the first round was kind of bad, and I had to cut some footage from my camera, so I had to delete that game. We're just going to move on to round two. And these players are both playing different uncommon decks, a lot of older decks. On the left, we have Martin, who is using a Rayquaza Emboar deck. Did I say right? I meant left. If I did. Anyway, on the right, we have Ian, who is using a Garbodor, Landorus, Mewtwo, Bouffalant, Tornadus, Terrakion, big basics deck, that type of thing.
Yeah, the kind of deck that basically just dominated states and regionals.
Very popular back then.
Yep. So maybe one of these guys just came up, or just figured, hey, this deck may still be good, and maybe they just found out a way to, change it up maybe and make it good for this format.
Both of these decks still have a lot of other traits they had back then. It's just the decks. The other decks have gotten a lot of better assets, and these decks have not gained as much as other decks. So as you see, Martin is going first, and he has what looks like an alright start. He has 2 Tepegs out. And
we want to get those double Tepegs so they don't get one-shotted by Tornadus.
Yeah. The Garbodor deck, who do you think has the better matchup in this?
I'd say the Garbodor deck, unless if Martin plays like 2 Tool Scrapper. I honestly just see Ian just smashing him in the face because of Garbodor shutting off Emboar's ability. But, he can still use a Rayquaza EX's first attack, but it's not the most reliable of attacks. Basically energy acceleration, but it's not very reliable.
Of course, Martin's deck relies on using Inferno Fandango to get energy on the Rayquaza to Dragon Burst. And the Garbodor shuts off that ability, and without that, he really doesn't have, Martin does not have very many powerful attacks he can use. So I think Ian will have the advantage in this matchup. But
the question is, does Ian have the knockout on this Tepig?
If he can start knocking out these Tepigs early on, that's even more powerful. But it looks like he's just going to do 40, and he did not get a Garbodor out, which is important. If Ian just does not draw a Garbodor or Trubbish or anything else to shut off Martin's abilities, then...
But something very interesting to note is that he can do 40 to that Tepig, and then if Martin tries to retreat out of it, later Ian can just use Landorus to pick it off later if it doesn't evolve quickly.
You're right. The 40 damage is more impactful than it may seem. Like you may just think his attack was entirely wasted, but no, that could definitely affect the game later on. And Martin just played a Colress for 3 cards, which...
It was actually, 3 cards, yep.
That is...
It's not good at all. We see a Floatstone on the Tepig, which will give the Tepig free retreat if it is catch it up.
So Martin plays all 3 cards of his hand down.
We see Martin here is trying to buy some time by catching up a Bouffalant.
And so Martin has a 0-card hand and is against a Tornadus EX with 3 energy, with 3 Tepigs on the field.
This is not very good for Martin at all. At least the good thing is that he has 3 Tepigs in play, so losing one won't be a huge deal. But
yeah, so if Martin can top deck a supporter, he'll be able to get out of this and maybe start doing some damage.
That is one of the problems with Emboar decks. You just can draw bad sometimes and it can just mess up your whole game, but you sacrifice some consistency for more raw power.
Yeah, there's a lot of decks like that nowadays. Like, for example...
Power Blast for the knockout, and wow, he keeps the energy. That could be...
Blastoise and the fact that it can draw very badly.
Looks like Martin messed up there. He didn't send up a Pokemon before he drew.
Yeah, but...
that
is...
Does Martin have 0 cards in hand?
Yes, he played down the Rayquaza that he just draw.
Martin is in big-time trouble. He's in top deck mode right now. I actually like Ian's board a lot. For Martin drawing so bad, Ian can afford to miss a few turns of getting Trubbish.
But if Ian can actually get that Trubbish out there and prevent... Like, if he can get that out there before Martin top decks out of this, it'll be pretty much over.
Something very interesting is that Ian could actually... Okay, no, that's not going to happen. I was going to say he could kill both Tepigs if he gets Landorus Laser Bank to kill both Tepigs.
That will actually not work. Tepig has 70 HP.
Okay, that's what I've said. Oh, yeah, that's the 170 HP. Good job by Martin for getting those 70 HP Tepigs.
Yeah, something to note, I think... I'm not sure about this, but I believe that those Tepigs are completely out of rotation. Oh my gosh, Martin just top decked another Rayquaza EX. So I think technically Martin shouldn't have those Tepigs. He should have. There's only 60 HP ones legal, but you know, doesn't really matter right now.
Let's see. Let's see here. No. I'm like pretty confident that actually Tepig was printed in like Plasma Freeze or Plasma Storm. I'm looking up.
There was a Tepig in Boundaries Crossed which had 60 HP, but I believe these ones are from Black and White.
Yeah, but at least we know that there's a Tepig that is legal, so the deck is not totally illegal.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was worried about that for a while. That when Tepig
was
just out and we had the shiny Emboar.
Game.
Yeah,
you see, it looks like the Rayquaza is going to be knocked out here. Is that DCE on the Tornadus? Yes, that's damage for a perfect knockout. Ian is down to 3 ice cards. And a top several.
And Martin has looked like
game 1. Man, no supporters.
Like top 10 cards. What is going on here?
Man, how many? Like 0 supporters? There's a Skylar.
I'm pretty sure he plays plenty. Like 13, 14.
Well, maybe he needs to power shuffle this game. I don't know if he did before game 1, but.
Yeah, maybe he had a lot of them prized or something. That can happen sometimes. Now moving on to game 2, Martin will be able to go first, so I won't have to worry about losing on the first turn with the Tepigs that had 68 or 70 HP. Ian can easily play Tornadus, Bank, Laser, and knock those out on the first turn, but Martin won't not have to worry about that because of the best out of 3 rules.
Yep. By the way, how do you feel about the 50 minutes best out of 3 for this new format?
Oh, the 50 minutes. I would have liked it if it wasn't 50 minutes, personally. I think it's just not enough time to play 3 games, ever.
And we see mulligan for Martin, very bad hand at that. 5 item cards.
Ian also mulligans. You see Martin has the Scoop Up Cyclone ace-spec in his deck.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Lets you pick up a Pokemon from your field and go back into your hand, and all the cards attached to it. Which is nice in this deck, because you can... It's better than something like Max Potion, because you can heal a Pokemon completely, and then put those energy wherever you want another Pokemon. So, Scoop Up Cyclone is definitely a nice aspect to have in these decks. Some people would prefer the consistency of Computer Search, or maybe even Dowsing Machine. But, Scoop Up Cyclone does have the feature of the healing and the...
Well, I honestly do feel like it's Computer Search and Dowsing Machine that have it out for the best aspect. The thing about Computer Search is just more raw consistency. And we see another mulligan from Martin, but Dowsing Machine, what it allows you to do, it allows you to drop your catcher line down to 3, or maybe some other cards down just a little bit to give you 1 or 2 extra slots to your deck, which can be huge.
Something tells me Martin doesn't play 4 catcher anyway, because frankly the deck doesn't have that much space, and you don't really need it, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe like 2.
A little overkill.
I think maybe 2 catchers, maybe.
2 or 3 is
pretty
average for these decks.
Probably more like 3, though.
And a lot of people may be wondering why this Emboar deck is even playable at all, if it's just Blastoise just seems better. Black Ballista does 200, Dragon Burst does 180. Emboar has a much, much worse weakness with Kyurem running around that can knock out Tepig very easily.
I feel like Plasma is a very poor matchup for you.
Mm-hmm, that is.
Like it's probably more like an auto loss, maybe like an 80-20 in their favor. So.
Yeah, it's a tougher one, but the thing is, the Rayquaza Emboar deck does have a better matchup against Virizion Genesect decks.
Yes, it does. That is very true.
The fire types are very helpful in that matchup. I believe he runs Reshiram, I want to say just 1.
Yeah, 1. That'd be a very nice tech for that matchup.
Mm-hmm. So with that, you can just use Blue Flare for 120.
I think we say Juniper, no, an N in Martin's hand. So he does have a support of this game, which is something nice to add.
I see a Skyla.
Yeah, he definitely has an N. Yeah.
Is that a Juniper?
That's a Juniper. I
think he has a Skyla and a Juniper.
Hand. He has an Emboar, Skyla, Lightning, Fire, Rayquaza.
Does he actually have a pretty good hand? If he wants to, he can just Skyla for the rare candy and pass, and then next turn he'll have an Emboar. Yes,
or if he has a float stone or an out to that, if he can draw into that, he can use turn 1, the first attack, Celestial Roar on Rayquaza EX, which wouldn't be.
Something tells me he's not going to go for Celestial Roar. That's a very risky attack. Ian finally draws a basic. I think he got like 4 or 5 mulligans, I want to say.
And Martin will go first. Tepig, Keldeo, double Rayquaza. Very... Ooh, top deck into the Tepig. This is a very nice start here from Martin.
And on the flip side, Ian starts with...
And we see a Scout. He's probably going to...
starters ever, frankly. There's 4 retreat, and its attacks don't do anything.
So he's getting her candy. Now, if Ian does not have an in, this could be really bad news for Ian.
Yeah, next turn he'll get an Emboar. Oh, he is using a Celestial Roar, and he's discarding...
That is very bad.
That is the reason you don't want to use Celestial Roar a lot of the time.
Well, I mean, if you're very desperate, then it may be good. I've seen some players get 3 energy off of it, but that was just pure, very unlucky for Martin there. You gotta feel bad for him for just hitting those off of that.
He does have an N, which will be very bad for Martin. He won't have the rare candy Emboar. So that amazing turn turned into kind of lackluster turn of just getting 2 Tepigs out and discarding 2 superior energy retrievals.
Now here's the problem. If Ian does not draw basic, we could see this game end right here if Martin draws into the candy Emboar and is able to get 3 fires.
Looks like Martin does have a rare candy and an Emboar, but he does need the 3 fire energy to get the knockout. So let's see if Ian does have a basic. He's probably going to want to bench something. Trubbish would be an optimal thing to draw. Now we had a little technical difficulty there, sorry about that. So now we're back to the match. Ian does get another basic with the Terrakion and energy on the bench Terrakion as opposed to the active one, and that's a smart play he did there, attaching it to the bench. So if Martin decides to go for the Dragon Burst and attack the active, he'll also need a Pokemon catcher to hit the one on the bench.
So we get a heavy ball for an Emboar here.
If he uses Dragon Burst on the active Terrakion, he's going to have to take a Retaliate to the face.
Whoa, double rare candy, double Emboar.
Yeah, 2 rare candy, 2 Emboar. So as long as he does not get a Trubbish anytime soon, Martin will definitely just be able to steamroll every attacker Ian throws at him.
Yeah, this Garbodor is going to need to come down fast, or Martin's just going to steamroll Ian here. Wow, we see some Inferno Fandangos coming down.
So it looks like he only has 2 energy in his hand, which is not very good for him. He obviously wanted the 3rd one to knock out the Terrakion.
But this is a very good draw here from Martin.
He also is doing it smart and capturing the other Terrakion.
Yes, he's noticing that this Terrakion is the threat right now, and he's just trying to take it out.
And it does have an Eviolite, which won't really affect the damage for Rayquaza at all. It is at 100. And unless Ian wants to play a switch, he's going to have to leave this thing active and probably retaliate for 30.
Did we just see a Caitlyn from...
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Caitlyn, let's see how many cards he's going to draw here. 2... 4, I think? I don't think he didn't really draw much off of this. He didn't get an energy or a Trubbish.
I feel like this game's going to really be a blowout, and I think unless if Ian can make a miracle comeback and, just hope that he can get rid of those Emboars, then I honestly think that Martin's really just going to win this game right here.
Yeah. Plays a Tool Scrapper on the... Oh, this is a funny little play. He's Tool Scrapping the Keldeo, so it has no more Float Stone, and then he's going to use Escape Rope to force Martin to switch out to a new Pokemon.
Now this is...
He'll have to draw an extra energy or another Float Stone if he wants to go back to the bench.
This could buy him... Scoop Up Cyclone.
And that looks like what the direction Martin's going to go with this. He's not going to take the risk to draw a Float Stone. He's just going to play his Scoop Up Cyclone, move the energy to his Scoop Up the Rayquaza on the bench it again, and then attach Lightning to the active. So now he'll have guaranteed Dragon Burst as long as he draws Fire Energy. He'll have to draw Float Stone or have to retreat once for the 1 retreat cost of Rayquaza EX.
Yeah, well, one question that I have right now is that he played the Screw Up Cyclone, but the question is, did he really want to? I mean, I don't know how many Lightnings he plays, so was that the smart play? You playing that scoop up Cyclone now,
as opposed to later? Yeah, he could have.
I mean, I guess he just wanted to go aggressive and try to, get it far ahead as he can, stay on the aggressive right now, which is, understandable. I'd probably do the same thing, but again, I do not know Martin's list, so I don't know how many lightnings he actually plays.
Yeah, if he runs a lot more lightning energy, yeah, you're right. He would not want to take that risk because of the he won't want to play the scoop up Cyclone because he'd be likely to draw lightning energy anyway to just Dragon Burst with this active one. But it looks like Ian had to just pass and play Hypnotoxic Laser. It looks like someone also bumped the camera, which is what happens when you play a game that you're not in. It's frustrating to watch this. I was busy playing my own rounds. I couldn't really help. And now Martin is just going to on the offensive get a superior energy retrieval, discard hopefully 2 excess cards. Now it's bumped sort of back into place. Yeah, Rare Candy Emboar, he's not going to need to have 3 Emboars out, especially in a Garbodor matchup and a matchup where your opponent cannot really one-shot your Pokemon. But now he can just use the Dragon Burst and knock out this Tornadus, and in just 2 more attacks, he could easily just win this game. Knock out the Tornadus and then knock out the Mewtwo.
Yeah. Something that I'm questioning is that what is Ian's Garbodor line? It must be either very thin or he does not play a lot of search ball cards, because we have not seen a Trubbish drop down this whole game.
Yeah,
this game before that.
I want to say he plays like a 2-2 line. I think he does have a lot of them. And then Martin's just going to play Superior Energy Retrieval and win the game here. And we're going to move on to Game 3. Both very unexciting games.
Yeah. But hopefully this third game will be a lot more exciting. Probably will be, since, yeah.
Yeah. The Garbodor versus Emboar or Blastoise, or whichever one you want, is an interesting matchup. It is kind of difficult to play a lot of times because you have to worry about your Emboar getting catchered out, and you have to worry about retreating it. But Martin does run not only Keldeo but Floatstone, so he will be able to retreat those Emboars. So it would seem like Martin has a good matchup with the Floatstones. But usually against the more popular Garbodor variants with Darkrai, you want to power up Keldeo. Keldeo isn't exactly, or not, you don't have Keldeo as an option in this matchup, so you still have to use Dragon Burst, or maybe Blue Flare from Reshiram.
Actually, Darkrai Garbodor is really my favorite deck this format. Something that I'm probably going to play at regionals and probably cities. I just really like the way the deck flows.
Yeah, it is definitely a very powerful deck, but you don't have any sort of attacker to use that doesn't discard energy with the Emboar deck, unless you want to use 50 with Keldeo, but that's probably not a good idea.
No, just get mauled.
Yeah, he's not going to have very many offensive options without Emboar. I do not believe we haven't seen a Tool Scrapper from him, so that could end up backfiring for him.
We've been seeing a lot of mulligans in this series. It leads you to think that maybe these players don't play many basics in their decks.
Yeah,
and
with all the Pokemon Ian has, we've seen Terrakion and 2 Terrakion, Tornadus, Mewtwo, I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive Landorus is in there. Lavos, and then Trubbish, of course. You'd think he wouldn't mulligan as much, but Martin, I believe he runs 4 Tepig, possibly 4 Rayquaza, 2 Keldeo.
One Reshiram.
One Reshiram.
Yeah. Maybe these players need to be pile shuffling, which most players do. Pile shuffling basically just randomizes your deck a little bit more, spreads out the cards so it's not all clumped together with a bunch of trainers and stuff, so mulligans don't happen as often.
Yeah, but with the short time limits that we have now in these tournaments, this one personally had 50 minutes as well, or maybe it was 55, one of those two. You don't want to take as long shuffling, and pile shuffle does take a long time.
I mean, like, a lot of players are really good at doing it quickly, something I have mastered myself, pile shuffling very quickly.
Yeah, but it is definitely still faster to just whatever, like Riffle Shuffle or whatever. And here we see Ian's going first with a Trubbish that is not the Trubbish you want to be playing most of the time. You usually want the either the Tool Drop Trubbish or the what's it called?
You want the Pound Trubbish because it's like the Psychic. Pound, 2 colors energy for 20 damage. You can go Laser Bank, turn 150 damage with the Trubbish, believe it or not.
Yeah. Wait. You're on Double Carlos, yeah. Oh, in this deck, yeah.
Yep. You see Silver Mirror. No, I really don't. This
won't going to help him in this matchup at all.
He just honestly, if Ian plays a lot of Floatstones, I may have just wanted to see him not play down that Silver Mirror and try to get a Floatstone.
Because Garbodor does have 3 retreat cost, which is obviously a good even if Martin can't knock it out, he can still play catcher, bring it up, and it will really, uh, it won't be hard to get out of the X spot.
Let me
Ian
see.
discards a lot of stuff there.
Yeah.
2 Tool Scrapper, 2 Energy. I think I might have saw an N, which is a little peculiar. He probably would have wanted to just play that if he had
We do
it. So
some fire energies and a Juniper in Martin's hand, so I'm going to think that this game is going to be pretty good here.
yeah, this
And then
is
we
so far.
get a glimpse of Martin's beard there.
Yeah.
There's that a mustache.
And then
Three floats on here.
Ian has the Floatstone and the Keldeo, which while Garbodor is active, he cannot rush in, so that's not going to be too effective in this game. And something that's bothering me right now is that neither player owns any poison counters, so we're just going to see, that 10 damage there. It's a little confusing, I apologize.
Man, Ian, the start was pretty good with the Trubbish, but I mean, he just didn't get an attack out and didn't really get any energy, so could this come back to bite him? The early game pressure is really important against Emboar decks, because late game they can just steamroll you with KO after KO after KO, much like Blastoise decks.
Yeah, it looks like Martin is going to have to Juniper away 2 Emboars right now, and I think I also saw a Pokemon catcher, so that's obviously not what he wants to do. He's right now, obviously no, that's not what he's wanting to do, but it looks like the third Emboar is not prized, so he won't have to worry about having 0 Emboar. And let's get to this one way too.
Keldeo stay active, maybe.
All right. Now.
No, yeah. Since you had the lightning, the Rayquaza is the better play here. Oh my goodness! Oh, 2 fire energies.
Yeah, in this situation, I would have. The Celestial Roar is actually a good option because of the Garbodor possibility of Garbodor coming up is very real, and you'll just have no energy attachments.
We see the Garbodor come down. Turn 2.
Yeah, that is going to be a problem. But it looks like Ian made a small misplay and did not use Rush In before getting the Garbodor out, because now he does not have Rush In and he does not have Floatstone.
Yeah.
So if he rushed in and then evolved into Garbodor, he would have been able to retreat. But now he has this thing stuck active, and he'll need to draw a switch. So that may have been a small oversight. It can be a little funky with your own abilities. For example, in the Darkrai Garbodor deck that we've been talking about, Dark Cloak can be very helpful a lot of the time.
By going Tool Scrapper and then attaching to the Floatstone.
It looks like Martin is never mind. Ian played a Hypnotoxic Laser, and he put him to sleep, but then he'd wake up. If he would have if he would have stayed asleep, he would have had to pass this turn because he does not run Switch because he has those Keldeos and Floatstones. Now he's going to Sky. Let's see what he's going to get here. If he gets, I would probably just either get Rayquaza or Tepig. Looks like he's going for Super Rod, which is another alright option because he has so many resources discarded, such as those Emboars. And looks like here, if I'm not mistaken, he has 2 energy in the discard. I could be wrong about that. But if he did, you have to shuffle in 3 cards with Super Rod. So these guys may not be exactly, they might be familiar with that rule. Something a lot of players overlook. But yes, you have to get 3 cards if they are in there. But if there's less than 3 cards, you have to just get all of them. So, a little confusing sometimes. I can see why players would confuse those, but that is what the rule is. Anyway, Martin is just going to use a Dragon Burst and knock out the Garbodor.
Well, that was huge. Ian's strong start with the Trubbish and then the misplay just resulted in the Garbodor being knocked out. And this is why you need to play test and, look over everything before you just recklessly make plays, because it can lose you games in tournaments. I mean, here we just have a league tournament, which is kind of casual, but in a tournament, that play could easily cost you a match.
That is obviously not a good thing to do that. But this is, for a lot of players, this is basically play testing. But the one thing that it really is affecting this game is that Martin still does not have a Trubbish out. Which means even if Garbodor is not in play, he still has no Infernal Fandango because he has no...
The Terrakion.
Yeah, he has no Emboar. So there's really not much difference between the situations right now. And Ian is playing the pressure with the Terrakion, which has 130 HP, so it's going to be very hard to knock out. And he also has a max, so he plays Scoop Up Cyclone and Max Potion, which is very curious. You'd think he'd just run one, but no, he plays both. I hope he plays the Jirachi EX as well, so he could use scoop up Cyclone to get that out of play as fast as possible. But he may not, and just want to have a lot of healing cards, which is understandable. The healing is very good in this format. A lot of spread attacks and like Frost Spear, and a lot of possible, like for example, Blizzard Burn. It's very easy for that not like to just whiff something to knock out a opponent's Pokemon. So if they get, for example, 150 damage, if they miss the Silver Bangle or something, then Max Potion will be very helpful in those situations.
Yep.
And looks like it was smart for Martin to do that, to play with the what's it called, the Super Rod, because he has to Juniper away his other Emboar. So if he didn't Super Rod, he would have all three in the discard. So a good what's the word? Good thinking ahead for Martin there. Hey, he had the Juniper in hand, and he didn't want to. He knew he would have to discard this Emboar eventually.
And I've noticed, actually, what you said about the whiffing of the KO. Actually, Plasma lists, a lot of players like myself are now just playing Bangle. But some players have decided to play 2 Bangle and like a 2 Verbank, 3 Laser or 4 Laser, so they can just try to always make sure they can get that KO. Something I really don't like, because I like the fact of being able to save 3 spots in your list, because most Plasma decks played 4 Laser and 2 Verbank Sea Gym, and now they just take out 3 of those spots and replace them with Silver Bangle, and the other 3 spots can just apply to wherever you want to make your deck more consistent, which is something I really like.
Yeah. The whiffing does still happen with those cards. It can happen, even with 4 Laser, there's also a chance that you just don't have Burbank out, or a lot of things could prevent the player from getting the 170 or 180 damage they need. And looks like Ian is going to play an N here. He still has no Trubbish, and Martin has the 2 Tepegs out, so this could end badly. And looks like he has a Skyline and a Rare Candy in hand, which will allow him to get an Emboar next turn.
Wow, here we're going to see a Land Crush for 90.
Oh, Land Crush. It's such a fun thing to see Terrakion. I remember there was a Battle Roads, the last season of Battle Roads, which was, what was that? A spring, 2013. I used Terrakion in my Garbodor deck, and it was the funnest thing ever. And it was like Martin may be not going for the Emboar this turn with the Skyla for Heavy Ball or Ultra Ball or whichever. That would probably be a good play, just to get the Emboar out. He's considering it. Yes, looks like that's what he's going to go for. Definitely a good thing to do here is get that Emboar out.
Yeah.
Even if your Rayquaza goes down, you can still just as easily get a Rayquaza and a Lightning Energy, but an Emboar is something you need a lot of combination of cards to get, so it's good to get those in play. That's your first priority most of the time, getting that in play, because it's something that you're not always going to have the option to get an Emboar out. And Martin does have Fire Energy and a Lightning. I'm assuming he's just going to keep those in his hand for next turn, in case he draws a Rayquaza. He may just want to attack for... He does have the option of attaching this Lightning Energy and Inferno Fandango the Fire on and Dragon Burst for 120, which this Rayquaza is going to get knocked out anyway. So that might not be such a bad play, because you can discard Lightning Energy as well, obviously. That's what Electric decks did. Looks like that is what he's going to do. I do like this play a lot, but the one problem is he used a lot of Lightning... This will make him have used a lot of Lightning Energy. What is he doing? Okay. Now he's going for the Bouffalant and knocking that out. That's also not a bad idea, in case you can draw a Rayquaza with 3 energy the next turn. You won't have... if you draw 3 energy, you're obviously going to want to knock out something with that, as opposed to using just the 1 energy to knock out this Terrakion. Now, we're going to see a Land Crush or Retaliate or whichever for the knockout. Both of them do 90 damage at this point. And now Martin is going to get a Rayquaza. So, hopefully that's a supporter in his hand as 1 card, I believe.
Yep.
Let's see, it is a Forest for 7, no, 6.
No, 6.
Right. And Martin's not going to bother shuffling. Oh, it looks like that is a... No,
Wait.
Not a bad hand, definitely. He has 3 fires and a superior energy retrieval. So
no shuffling, no cutting. Very interesting.
So he can discard some energy just because he has so many in his hand. And looks like he's going for the 2 lightning just because of how many he discarded earlier. That's another thing. Most players would just get the 1 lightning and the bunch of fire energy. So that's another nice little thing Martin is. He's definitely playing well, I think. Martin knows how to play this deck. He has played this deck for a long time. He enjoys it. It's fine.
Yep. Wow, we're going to see a big Dragon Burst.
Dragon Burst knockout, and now he's going to send up Tornadus. And Ian does not have too many options right now. He can blow through or power blast for the knockout. But alright, and we are back. Get another cutout. Sorry for the call quality. Seems to be acting up right now. We're, of course, using Skype to do this because we live very far away from each other. Skype is very good for that. But anyway, I'm back to the game. Ian's turn right now. He's looking through Martin's discard to see what options he has, what possible hole in Martin's resources he can take advantage of.
That is a very large discard.
Yeah, Martin has gone through a lot of cards this game, but Ian definitely has to act now. The thing he wants the most, obviously, is a Trubbish, so he can get Garbodor out, and then he'll be able to hopefully just shut down Martin's abilities and knock out ult attackers, and then he'll have no energy in play. But he may not be able to get that. If he can't get that, then I'm skeptical of his chances of winning. He's going to play a Skylight here. That might be it's going to be for a laser. This is a curious play, I must say. I'm trying to think what he's going to do with this. He may just be wanting to hit the Rayquaza for 30, do extra damage.
Yeah, generally speaking, this is not a good representation of Garbodor decks in general, because most of the time, you'll be getting turn 2 Garbodor lock, and you'll be shutting your opponent down. But this is just not a good representation because Ian is just not drawing into these ball cards and Trubbishes. I've noticed he hasn't really played any Ultra Balls or Heavy Balls at all this game.
Definitely seems like Ian just not drawing very well in this game. Garbodor decks usually can just shut down these decks and have them not. Oh, goodness. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I thought it cut out. Anyway, back to the game. Definitely, if Garbodor player can get a Garbodor out, then this matchup becomes a lot simpler. Abilities are off. Martin attaches 1 energy per turn. Ian wrecks everything with his 100 damage attacks and lasers and whatnot.
Wait, did he just silent for 2 energies? Wow.
Yes, he did. He may be out of energy.
Yeah. Martin's getting low on deck too. Like, this could actually be a way that he loses here by deck out. And we see yet another knockout, Martin going down to 1 prize. Mm-hmm. I think he drew a fire and a lightning off the prizes.
Remember at the beginning, Martin discarded the 2 superior energy retrievals.
Yep.
So he will, that could really end up backfiring on him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have no energy left.
And that Rayquaza is hitting heavy on damage.
Now Ian is playing a...
And we see it gets us for 2, float zone and catch. It's not going to do much, but it can hurt Martin's chances of top decking into the right card that he needs.
If you get them back into the deck, then he might draw them again, obviously.
See, 120, 130, okay, 40 damage away from a knockout on this Rayquaza here.
Yeah, so Hammerhead and a laser would do it.
Yep, fighting laser. But I think Ian's gone through a lot of lasers this game, so okay, here we see an Ultra Ball.
Yes, he's probably going to go for a Trubbish here. He discards a...
Okay. The fighting means that he probably has another one in hand.
Oh, no, he's Tornadus. Huh.
Okay, he's going to go for the kill with his Tornadus, probably.
This also makes a little bit of sense, because if he has a double Carlos, he can also knock out the Rayquaza.
Yeah, rush in with Keldeo, retreat, go in with double Carlos with Tornadus, take the kill. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do.
It looks like both these players are really just not representing visually what they're doing, and mostly just saying things. Like, for example, I've seen multiple times where players have said, or they've done Russian retreat without actually saying it, so it's a little confusing for you guys, but that is what's happening. I'll try to outline those a little more in the future.
Yeah, when I play Pokemon, when I say Russian retreat, I'll actually bring the Keldeo up and then bring it back.
Yeah, and in tournaments, these players probably both do that, but since these guys know each other and they know they're doing everything.
Oh my
okay.
goodness.
He does have one superior energy retrieval left.
This could be
he did play
huge
3
here.
earlier.
This will be
Four
how
fire.
much? 80 damage?
Yes, looks. That seems like what he's doing. What he's going for is a heat crash. No, is it heat crash?
Yes, Heat Crash for 80. But the thing is, it'll take 3 shots of Heat Crash to kill this Tornadus. Exactly. And I think by that time, Ian will have had enough time to respond with a Landorus or something of that sort. And we see an N going down to 1 card for Martin, putting Ian at 2.
If Ian can get an energy or possibly an energy at any point, he can hit. No, he has. No, never mind. He needs 2 prizes. So that won't immediately win him the game. But if Martin hits, he'll have to hit 3 times with this Emboar to knock out Tornadus. So Ian has a few turns to knock out this one Emboar, and then Martin will probably be out of energy entirely, and he'll just be able to knock out that Tepig for the game.
Yep.
So let's see if that's what's going to happen here. He's going to use Heat Crash for 80, and Ian's going to draw his cards. He's got 3 cards, so he could just not draw anything, and Martin will be able to get 3 consecutive Heat Crashes for the knockout.
All you need to do is just draw into an energy, and that'll pretty much just sum up the game right there, because then Martin can do 100, and the next turn just use Blow Through for 60.
You mean Ian can do 100?
Yes, Ian.
Let's see. I think the odds are definitely in Ian's favor to draw an energy, or even a laser would do it as well, because it would Blow Through would do 60, and then laser would do 30, and then another Blow Through would do 60. So maybe if Martin just has 2 more energy, he can use that Tepig to use Heat Tackle or whatever it's called to knock out this Tornadus. All right, and yet again we're back. Sorry for the continuous cutouts. This is not being very responsive right now. Just Skype is continuously disconnecting, which I apologize for. But Ian is now attaching to. Okay, this is another play that works. He's going to Hammerhead for 30, and now he doesn't have the Tornadus active to take the hit.
Yep, so that means if Martin does not have a catcher, this could be game over here.
Yeah, because now the Landorus does do a lot less damage than Tornadus, but Martin does have a catcher in his hand, but he cannot, unless he has 2 catchers, he's still not going to be able to knock out the Thunder or the Tornadus. So maybe what Ian is planning, he has another energy in his hand, and he's going to Hammerhead once more, and then retreat to Tornadus and Power Blast for the knockout. Martin's going to Skylar. Let's see what he has. If he has another catcher, then this game is pretty much just going to be over. He's going to catcher the Tornadus and then catcher it again and knock it out. If he doesn't, there might not be anything he has. It looks like he really doesn't have any options in there. He's just looking there, seeing if there's anything he can take. I'm trying to think what would get him out of this. I really don't see much of anything. Obviously, if there's energy in there, he's going to want to get like a Juniper maybe, try to draw those energy. But probably nothing left because he did Silent for those 2 energy earlier instead of the 3 you can normally get with Silent. So I think this game will. Oh, he's going to get the Scoop Up Cyclone.
Cyclone, wow.
There's not much he can do with this at the moment. He can.
Well, if he has a rare candy in hand.
Oh, yes, you're right. That will help him. If he Scoop Up Cyclone, he'll get his energy back.
I think he has a catcher in hand. Oh.
Yeah, so he's probably just saving that for the right moment. Ian probably does not have both an energy and a laser. That would just be dreadful if he pulled that off this turn. So Martin's probably just going to save that if he can, until he top decks a rare candy. He probably has 1 more in there, and that's what he's planning to do. I'm trying to remember if he played any. How many rare candies he's played? I think this is his first Emboar. I think he may have discarded some earlier, so he could be out of them. But if he does top deck the rare candy, I think this game will go to him because he'll just be able to survive a lot longer than Ian, and eventually whittle down this Landorus and the Tornadus. I think Martin should probably just use the Heat Crash instead of using the catcher, because odds are he's not going to draw another one.
Yeah.
So now we just need to wait for what Martin's going to do.
Ian points to the Tornadus. Maybe Martin's thinking catcher?
Yeah, maybe trying to think what happened there. Maybe they're discussing how Martin can win this. Because, these guys are friendly. They're probably just talking things over. They know each other well. I guess something I should mention.
Both these players look like they're using brand new Blue Ultra Pros.
I think they've both had these for quite a while, actually. But yeah, they are a little...
They look kind of minty in mint condition, so...
Maybe they just replaced them often, like more so than most people. But anyway, back to the game at hand. Emboar just uses Heat Crash. He's just going to hit Heat Crash, which I think is what the best thing is going to be for him to do.
Yeah.
Let's see what Ian does. If he's...
I honestly like Ian's position in a way, because if he can just get rid of this Emboar and Martin isn't able to get into a rare candy, that would just pretty much just be game over, and Ian will take it.
Martin's top deck at this point, because of, if he draws the rare candy, he's going to win. If he doesn't, he's going to lose. That's pretty much what I think this is going to end up being.
Nope.
One thing is Martin doesn't have to. He doesn't have to wait to use a Scoop Up Cyclone to the exact opportune moment. He can just sit there behind a Tepig or a Keldeo and wait for to draw the rare candy.
Interesting on an interesting note, if he's trying to wall behind the Keldeo, Ian could very easily just not catcher, maybe just catcher attached laser, GG. That'd be 130.
So Martin could just play the Scoop Up Cyclone early and not risk him knocking it out with a lucky top deck or lucky card in his hand. But he also could try to take the risk and play it.
Nope. Just flicking around that catcher Scoop Up Cyclone.
Yeah,
see here.
Cards,
what is Ian gonna do? There are a couple of options.
You're gonna play an N, and that ends Martin.
Okay, there's an N here.
Okay, so if Martin could possibly
I think that was a very...
if Martin can get Cyclone Rare Candy off these two cards, that's going to be great. If he draws a supporter, I don't know if he has any left. That was the problem.
I would think at this point it may not matter, because if he does hit a supporter and he plays it, then with his deck.
It depends on the supporter. Something like Colress, that won't get him very many cards. It will be good for him.
Well, here's the thing is that Ian, that N, could have just saved him, because that catcher Cyclone could have been very deadly under the right circumstances.
Yeah, but there's also the chance that Ian just didn't draw anything. He still has nothing. But we're going to see here if he has what he needs to win the game, or to knock out this Emboar, and then win after that, because Martin has nothing left. So we're just going to see what happens here.
Yep.
One thing I guess I should mention is that Ian does actually have a YouTube channel named Warpmaster7, I want to say. He apparently does some Pokemon videos, and he does some Let's Plays. Okay, so you should check him out. And Martin does not have a very good hand. He has the catcher, and he has a heavy ball, which the heavy ball.
He could heavy ball to thin out his deck, maybe, just to see what's there.
Play that. If there's something to thin out his deck, he'll get it, and if there's not, even just it's a good idea to see exactly what he has left. He might have already done that when he played the Skyla earlier for the Scoop Up Cyclone.
I really this is the thing with Emboar decks, you can get yourself into these really bad situations, and I really do not like Martin's situation. He's just begging, he's just at the mercy of the top deck right now.
Martin just going to use a Heat Crash now? He may be factoring in that. He may be telling Ian that he's going to win by 10 damage, because Tornadus will have only 10 damage left.
Yeah.
If he Heat Crashes.
Well, and the camera got bumped again.
Oh no, I think I fixed it. I think I remembered this happening. I finished my game and I went to fix it.
Did you win your game?
I think I did at that point. I think I'm 2-0 at this point. But anyway, we'll talk about me later. Martin cannot just Heat Crash here. He has to retreat to Keldeo, or
he needs to buy some time of some sort. Right now, Martin. This game would have been not this close had Ian not misplayed as bad as he did.
Oh, he is gonna use. He's just gonna Heat Crash. And
they're just putting a 1 there, signifying that Tornadus.
Signifying that Tornadus does have only 10 HP left.
So if Ian cannot win this turn, then that pretty much just means that Martin is just going to take it. Because meaning he has the Tornadus open.
The problem is Emboar has 60 HP left, which is he's just gonna blow through and knock it out.
Yeah, that is one problem here.
He may be trying to trick out Ian into thinking he has no energy left, and then just attaching two to the Tepig, and then
and there's the knockout here. I think this is just gonna be game if Martin cannot draw into anything here. What was the top deck? Let's see.
Let's take one more prize. If he has an energy and a catcher, he can knock out the Tepig. I really don't know what Martin. Yep.
Oh, that's game.
And that is going to be the game because Martin has no energy left. And
wow.
No way to knock him out.
Catcher prize. Wow.
Yeah. So Ian is going to win this game, and I'm not sure what here.
Although this series did not play out the way I would think it would, I thought it'd be a lot more of the Garbodor coming into play, shutting off abilities. But Ian just could not draw into that much this game. But I mean, congrats to him though for playing without the Garbodor and still managing to beat the deck. Beat Martin.
Yeah, it was definitely a very close game, very exciting. A couple key moments there that really defined the game, like the opening turn where Martin had to discard all those what were they called? All of the Emboars that he had to use for Emboars instead of energy to help him, get enough knockouts. And it's 2 superior energy retrievals. I believe that was that with Celestial Roar, or was that with just nothing, like with the Juniper?
He discarded off the Celestial Roar, I think.
That might have been an earlier game, but anyway, he discarded 2 of them, which ended up being his downfall because he had no energy left. And there was also the moment where Ian misplayed and kept the Garbodor active for Martin to just knock out with Dragon Burst.
Yeah.
So.
Although, Martin may have had the catcher, but still, that could have been just game defining.
Yeah, this was a very exciting game. Congratulations to Ian for moving on to 2-0. We'll see the third round. I will be in that third round, so I will be. William will not be with me that round, but he will be back for round 4 to help me with commentating that. So Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for more videos on Sam's 33 channel. Later.